In this week's Bleach, we find out what other people are up to.
Ain't this an old-fashioned shot to the nutsack?
So Bleach, chapter 545, Blue Stripes, begins with the antics of the Kurosaki family as Yuzu worries about Ichigo and Karin and Isshin have their usual funny fights.
Boo! You stink!
I shit you not, this about sums up my reactions when realizing this chapter started with these fucking people.
No! No!
Cut to Renji and Rukia, who are having one of the most intense staring competitions I've ever seen. Apparently this is part of their training that involves them getting used to the dense atmosphere of the Royal Guard. We then see Byakuya has healed, but when asked if he feels dizzy after such a long heal time, he says he's not strong enough to feel dizziness, but he will get stronger so he can.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Renji and Rukia realize now that Byakuya's gotten better, they'll have to visit all the royal guards again, but are terrified knowing they have to see that chick with the multiple arms who I guess makes new outfits for them. She tells Renji to remove all of his clothing.
Strip.
Renji doesn't want to take off all of his clothing, but she threatens to cut off a very important part of him if he doesn't.
I'll rip your fucking balls off and stuff them up your ass so that the next time you shit, you'll shit all over your balls, got it?
Just then, the final Squad Zero captain, also known as Ichibei, shows up and says when they first arrived they could barely stand or breathe, but now they seem ready for the inner room. Damn, if that room was tough, I'm sure the inner room is going to be brutal.
I hope you like the taste of prison food and penis.
Now cut to Shinji calling Hiyori about putting her in charge of something and sending her a special item. Oh great, more Kubo trying to be funny since we all know Hiyori doesn't get along with Shinji.
Oh god, that was so funny! Oh man, somebody stop my guts from bursting out of my sides!
Finally, we see Keigo, Tatsuki, and Mizuru discussing Ichigo's whereabouts. Oh great, because they're completely irrelevant to the story. Then the chapter ends with Shunsui showing up in front of the crew to tell them about their parting with Ichigo. Awesome, then maybe we won't have to see them ever again.
What? Oh no!
Well, I can honestly say my opinion on this chapter of Bleach
Was, without a doubt, the worst episode ever. Rest assured that I was on the internet within minutes, registering my disgust throughout the world.
Okay, it wasn't the worst, but it felt so unnecessary. You're gonna end it in Hueco Mundo last week, then cut to show Ichigo's family?
Oh, hell no!
And they were only on the last few pages, but why do we need to see Ichigo's friends? There are more pressing matters at hand, and the last thing I need to know is how Keigo feels about Ichigo being away. And as for the whole parting with Ichigo, it was completely overdramatic. Shunsui is basically going to tell them that Ichigo has better things to do than to hang out with them, like saving the world. That's all he has to say, but if he spends the entirety of next chapter explaining that to them,
I am just gonna snap.
it was nice to see Rukia and Renji after such a long time, but it just didn't save the chapter for me. It only seems like more of comedic filler with them talking about what they had to go through so far. Plus, Byakuya's revival didn't pique my interest. The fact that he's still alive is bullshit. Also, I don't know what's up with the woman who forced them to strip, but I was disappointed Kubo only showed Renji's experience with her and not Rukia's. Well, at least the fangirls got something out of it. And I didn't care for the humor that was thrown in with Shinji and Hiyori, but I was curious as to what he's got her doing. He and Mayuri sent her an item that was apparently necessary for her to use to carry out whatever it is she's been put in charge of. She's gonna have the help of the other visors, which is cool since we haven't seen them in action in quite some time, but I'm clueless as to what they're being forced to do. So overall, I dislike this chapter. I don't care what Ichigo's friends and sisters are up to. Rukia and Renji's appearance was kinda lame, and the Hiyori thing was aiming to be more humorous while I think it should have been serious. For my question of the week, what do you think Shinji is making Hiyori and the Visors do in the world of the living? My favorite comment will be featured in next week's review. Here are last week's winners. Alright, that does it for me. Remember to like and subscribe for more weekly Bleach chapter reviews, and follow me on Twitter or DeviantArt. I'll be back next week for hopefully some actual development. Peace.